channel members get it early, and you can hear me yell about my blurbos for 20 whole minutes. It ended up being a shorter one, but it required a lot more editing than my videos usually do, and also a lot more drawing than my videos usually do, because I drew 10 custom pieces just for this video. And like, I could make a big deal about that, but the thing is, you guys know me, a drawing is never one post. A drawing is never one thing for me. You can take a drawing and you can make it into like 10 things. And that's called recycling, baby. I make a drawing for a video, it goes in the video, but then I also use the same time-lapse footage and I make a short about it. And then I also, you know, I'll post the image by itself, but then also I'll post whatever short I made about it on like all of my platforms. I post those on Twitter, so that's 2 Twitter posts. I post those both on Instagram, so that's 2 Instagram posts. I post those both on Pinterest, so that's 2 Pinterest posts. And they all link back to the original YouTube video, and then subscriber number go up. My friends laugh at me and make fun of me when I call it this because it's a very stupid thing to call it. But it is also a very fitting thing to call it because it does kind of make sense. I call it the content ecosystem. It all just feeds into itself. And see, it's even, I'm doing it right now because I'm drawing this on stream, and so I have something to stream. And so now, like, not only am I doing live streams and getting involved with the community and talking directly to you guys, the VOD will also be available forever. It gets automatically archived on my channel as one more thing that people can watch and then get ad revenue from. And then, you know, I'll eventually post the long form video, and then I'll take, so for example, I drew 10 characters for my October video. That's 10 shorts. You post one of those a week, that's 10 weeks of content. I'm gonna have shorts for the rest of the year just from this one video that I did. Recycle your shit. The content ecosystem is content ecosysteming. Yeah, I mean, it took me a while to like get to this point where I kind of just have it all figured out and it kind of feeds into itself perfectly. But like, if this is something that you want to do, I highly, highly recommend making your work as hard as possible. A piece of art should never just be a piece of art. Like any digital art, if you do either on Procreate or in Clip Studio, both of those programs have features where you will automatically record the speed paint footage of everything you draw. With Clip Studio, you do have to turn it on. With Procreate, it's automatic. But like, any finished piece you make then becomes a potential like short or a TikTok or both. Yeah, that's another thing. Like all of my shorts I post to YouTube, I also cross-post them on TikTok. Like it all feeds into itself, and it's like, yeah, I post like 3 TikToks a week, 3 YouTube shorts a week, like all this stuff, but that's not individual. Those are not individual pieces. That's all coming from like recycling and using the same piece of art over and over and over again. And this is how you do it. This is how you make it work. You don't have to like generate entirely new pieces for things. It's like, I don't have to make completely separate TikToks. I just use what I'm already doing and just making it feed back into itself. Moral of the story, Star is a nerd. Listen, this is the stuff that genuinely gets me excited. This is the stuff that I find genuinely interesting, is like learning how I can make my workflow as efficient as possible and get as much out of every piece I do with as little work as possible. Literally, I was editing shorts right before the stream. Work smarter, not harder, very much. Exactly. Like, doing this as a job is hard. I will never deny that. It is very hard, and as hard it is to say, I genuinely do not think that this is a job that anybody can do. You kind of have to be a very specific type of person with a very specific type of brain. And like, you have to have the motivation not only to work this hard, but also to be constantly adapting to the changes and everything. Like, I could make an annual video breaking down all of my different sources of income and like how much they earn me, and it would be different every single year. Literally every year, my job changes on a fundamental level, and a lot of people could not handle that. Like, a lot of people will just prefer the stability of a full-time job and not burning themselves out constantly and overworking. And that is totally okay. That is, like, good for y'all. I love that for y'all. I wish that were me. I love it. This is the best job I've ever had. I genuinely have so much fun doing this. But I also have a very specific, like, joy in, like, fucking around with social media algorithms and looking at my analytics and seeing what works and running experiments and, like, all this stuff and trying out new platforms and all this shit. It brings me genuine joy, and that's the only reason I can make it work. When something stops working, I stop doing it. I'm constantly, like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've been trying out a lot of different, like, types of shorts recently. Like, I was doing those Q&A shorts for a while, and those did okay for the first bit, but then I stopped doing them because they weren't performing very well. And so now I'm doing those, like, character development shorts, and those are doing okay on my other platforms. Those are doing okay on, like, YouTube and stuff. Those are popping the fuck off on Instagram. The character development shorts are doing banger numbers on Instagram. And so I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just keep doing that. And those are real easy to write, and those are real easy to make. And so I'm just probably gonna continue that. I'm running low on my backlog of those, so sometime here in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna have to write and then script and, you know, edit and record all those. Like, I'm gonna do like another batch of 12, so that'll be 3 months. Of shorts that I'll just have for, like, every single Monday. New short, new short, new short. And then I'll just, like, I'll put them into my post scheduler, and it will just auto post them on the day they're supposed to go up. And then I don't have to think about it anymore, so I can focus on other things. No, I am legitimately a nerd about this shit. This is fun. This is fun for me. I'm not exaggerating. This is 100% my shit, and that is one of the only reasons that I make this job work, is because I genuinely find this shit so fun and fascinating. It's so interesting. And if I did not find it interesting, I would have quit a long time ago because it sucks. Because it sucks. There's no manual for it. It's literally just experimenting until you find something that works, and then you do that until it stops working, and then you figure something else out. Constantly, like every single day, you are analyzing what is working and what is not, what is still worth your time and what is not. It's fucking hard, but it's exhilarating, and I love it. And it's not for everybody. It is very much not for everybody. I will always give people advice, but what works for me might not work for other people. And so it's genuinely hard to give advice about this kind of stuff. It's hard to give specific advice because what works for me might not work for other people. What worked for me was joining YouTube, and then that took the hell off. But I know plenty of artists who, like, cringe at the idea of doing YouTube because they don't want to, like, they're not good public speakers. And they don't want to be that in front of an audience, and that's totally okay. That's their prerogative, but that means that my advice would not work for them. TLD didn't listen, I guess. It is a genuinely fun job. It is the most fun job I've ever had. It is stressful as hell, and I cannot recommend it to most folks. If you are willing and able to put in the time and energy it takes to get really good at it, it can be extremely good. It can be like an extremely lucrative career. If fucking around on social media is the type of stuff that drives you crazy and you never want to do it, if the idea of not drawing as much as you do admin work makes you cringe inwardly, then it's not really a career that I can heartily recommend, because I feel like you might not get as much out of it as I do. It's like you might not thrive in this if you can't bring yourself to enjoy that. And while that's a hard pill to swallow, it is unfortunately the truth. It's tricky. It's like a balance, you know? There's gonna be the chunky and the salty with the sweet, right? It's difficult. Basically. Yeah, very much. 100%.